All right, and now let's get to our conversation of the day where we are talking about drone technology in business. And joining us is Cleopa Otieno, who is the CEO, Kenya Flying Labs. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get right into the conversation and look at drones. Because when anyone talks about drones, of course, you think about an event, wedding or a birthday, but you're looking at drones in a different perspective. Give us a little bit of this.
Thank you very much. So drones, or rather as we call it in our space, unmanned aerial vehicles or uncrewed aerial systems, are robots that are able to fly and help us collect data. A lot of uses in the country have been around photography, filming, and content creation. But we saw an opportunity in this space to be able to improve farming practices through introducing precision agriculture using this technology. This technology can come in very handy around infrastructure inspection, around mapping and survey, last mile health logistics, where you're delivering medical supplies to areas that are remote or areas that are hit by disaster, and they're cut off. So these are just some of the few use cases that we are involved in currently.
Okay. All right, very interesting. And you've mentioned different areas in which you're looking at drone and using them. Now, let's focus on one by one. Let's start with agriculture, because you've spoken about agriculture and how drones are coming in order to make the work easier. So first of all, a farmer who is seated at home looking at this and wondering, okay, how do I use a drone in order for me to make my work easier, or in order for me to just, for it to help me during my planting season? How does it work?
So one way is around crop spraying. A lot of large farms that are mechanized use either tractors or knapsack sprayers, where you have people walking the trucks and spraying. But drones then come in to automate that. We have something called spot spraying, where you are trying to minimize waste so that you only spray areas that actually need this. And this can come out of a prescription where you collect data within your field and you analyze to be able to identify a map that's helping you to know which sectors of your farm have issues. You can monitor crop growth, you can monitor crop stress, you can see from this data sections of the farm that are stressed because either your pipes are not, taking water there because they're blocked, or rather you are getting more water in some sections. So we use multispectral sensors or hyperspectral sensors to be able to collect data, analyze this, and we give this to farmers to be able to now implement precision farming. This can be, spraying of chemicals or manure. There is nitrogen manure that can be sprayed, or even granular manure that can be dropped using drone platforms.
Okay. And now, still on this, is there a specific technology that is used in order, because you've said you collect data using the information collected, and then now you disseminate it to the farmers. So what type of technology are you using, and if a farmer would want to access it, how do they get to it?
So we basically use a drone, and there are different types of drones. So there are drones that can fly for hours, there are drones that can fly for just a few minutes. And on top of that, you have a high quality sensor, which I call a multispectral sensor or a hyperspectral sensor. And this sensor allows you to collect spectrum of light that we are not able to see with our eyes. As a farmer walking around your farm, you will always see green or yellowing, because our eyes can only see red, blue, and green.
Yes.
But now a multispectral sensor allows you to see beyond red, blue, and green. And that information, when analyzed, gives pointers to issues that are in your plot. And this can be, the stresses I talked about, or pests and diseases. And therefore, when you're spraying, you're only spraying sections that need to be sprayed. You're not necessarily just, spraying because it's time to spray, but you're basing it off data. A lot of farming, or even, all other sectors currently are big on data. And AI, where you automating things and creating algorithms that are going to narrow you down to the specific issues within your farm, for instance. So smallholder farmers may not access this technology now because it's expensive, but I think if they come together through their cooperatives or farmer groups or whichever other formations, there's that scale and they're able to access. Currently, Kenya has a number of drone operators. I think from KCA website, there are a couple of about 13 or more in this space. Yeah.
All right. Now, you've mentioned farmers working with farmers collecting themselves and putting themselves maybe in associations. So are there currently any farmers that you're working with? And if you're working with them, how are you working with particular farmers in order for them to get their data?
So through GIZ, we are running a sort of a research around this topic to see how best we can leverage drone data on our farming practices. It's an area that is new for us. We are currently in touch with different farmer groups to try and explore how the smaller scale farmers can access. The projects we've done have been with large scale farmers where they're already mechanized, they understand the technology, and a lot of this data can also be fed into already mechanized processes within large-scale farmers. So currently, through this project supported by GIZ, we are looking at creating a value chain around drone data and how small-scale farmers can have a framework through which they access, they request for this service, and this will piggyback on already excellent products like DigiFarm from Safaricom and Mezzanine, to see how we can bring drone data pipe into from small-scale farmers who can use an app to request that I need my farm to be scanned, and we already have a trained individual in that locality who is then able to be dispatched to scan a couple of plots and give smallholders benefit of this technology. So it's work in progress, and it may be helpful to understand that drones in this space are quite new. We just got our regulations in 2020 as well. So we're making baby steps towards identifying ways we can innovate around this technology in the different sectors that I mentioned here.
All right, Cleopa, just hold it right there. We're going to go for a short break, but don't go too far. We'll be back with Cleopa Otieno, just discussing about the drone technology and how it's adding into different industries that we have. We're also going to be looking at the summit that is going to be coming later on in June, and how you can be involved in this if you want to just get a little bit of more information, especially when it comes to drones and how they add into the business environment. All right, we're going to go for a short break, but don't go too far. We'll be back with more.